ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, June 12th. That means your drive is ready to go right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's drive. Our text line is open and brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Today is going to be a jam-packed show on the text line because today's Thursday. If you've been listening all week, I've been giving away tickets every day to the Coldcats opening homestand. So today's Thursday, and I've got tickets for Friday, then I've got tickets for Saturday, and I've got tickets for Sunday. So I've got 3 days. So I'm really wanting to give those away so I can get more to give away. So I need your help. Our text line is where we're going to give those away, and that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Speaking of the Coldcats, Coldcats got the win over the Johnson City Doughboys 11-9. The Coldcats overcome a 9-2 third inning deficit to get the victory. The teams will meet again tonight, obviously, at Jack Cook Field. 6:45 is going to be our airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It's also Scratch Bobblehead Night. I've got one. They're pretty cool. They're really cool. So if you get to the ballpark on time, and when I mean on time, get there early. I think the first 300 people through the gates get a Scratch Bobblehead. And it's also Thirsty Thursday. That's a big event. Always going to be a big event on Thursdays when it's Thirsty Thursday. So you've got a couple of big events coming up tonight for the Coldcats. But if you'd like to go tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday, we're going to open that text line up for you. And we make it real simple. If you text in, you get thrown into the pile. We create a pile. We start drawing, okay, who's on the show. Now, if you have a really spectacular text, you might get double entries. I'm just going to say the method to the madness is arbitrary, and it depends on how many texts we get, or do we get a really good one? So you get maybe a couple extra entries, just a little extra motivation there. So looking forward to it, and we'll give those tickets away throughout the show. Pirates got the win against the Marlins 5-2 yesterday. In Chicago, taking on the Cubs tonight, 8:05. We'll have the game tomorrow starting at 1:55 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Guardians took advantage of the Reds yesterday, 11-2. And then the NBA Finals yesterday. Game you heard on our sister station, Cat Sports, in 93.3 and 1340. It was Indiana getting the win over Oklahoma City, 116-107. So the Pacers take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 is going to be Friday night in Indianapolis. And then we've got Stanley Cup action tonight, again on our sister station, Cat Sports, 93.3 and 1340. It's Game 4, 8 o'clock, 7:30 is going to be our airtime. Florida playing host to Edmonton. The Panthers lead the series 2-1. The Panthers have home ice advantage. If Florida wins, going back to Edmonton for Game 5 and possibly a series clincher, but you got to get past Edmonton tonight to even entertain those thoughts. It could be 2-2, it could be 3-1. We'll find out tonight, and you can listen to it on our sister station. You can easily stream that as well. You can listen to that on our app, and it's real easy to find that app. And here's a way to actually do it. You don't even have to download anything extra. I'm going to double check right now, but I believe if you have our app, you have the ESPN app, if you open that up, and once it loads, you're going to find that you've got some options on the sidebar. And so you look at those options, and one is podcast. You can listen to the show through that app. Another is other stations. So if you hit other stations, you can actually listen to Cat Sports on the app that you already have. So we've got it paired together. So if you've got our app and you ever want to listen to something that's on Cat Sports, say maybe You want to listen to the NBA game, you want to listen to the Stanley Cup game, something different, and you can listen to it through the app. So it's real easy, and all you have to do if you want to get the app is head over to our website, wrvc.com. You can also search on the Apple Store for apps, also for the Google Store. So it's on Google Play, and it's for your Apple device as well. So we've got you covered all the way. All right, let's get it going. Start that text line going now, because we got 3 sets of tickets to give away, 3 pair of tickets to give away. So I want to do that. I want to make sure we make winners out of everybody today that wants to go to the games this weekend. And we've got a lot to get into. Yesterday we talked about this. Marshall men's basketball coach Cornelius Jackson agreeing to a contract extension. He's going to be on the job through the 29-30 season. First season as a head coach, had a 20-13 record, 12-6 in the Sun Belt. So it was a good start. And we did get some question about that yesterday. A couple of people texted in and not so sure that that was the proper length of the extension for Coach Jackson. So we can talk about that if you'd like, and we'll put that front of the line if you want to on the text line. Also, Hurricane High School is looking for a new head boys basketball coach following this week's resignation of Lance Sutherland. Led the Redskins for 15 seasons. Got him to 4 state tournament appearances. So there's a changing of the guard at Hurricane High School, so we can touch on that a little bit as well. And, of course, you know, with the NCAA House settlement, things are going to be changing as far as NIL, the ability to pay student athletes. We talked about it yesterday. There's already a lawsuit that has been filed, Title IX violations. There's possibility of Congress enacting some legislation, but from my understanding, there's I don't know if it's going to get out of the House, but there seems to be some divide. Some in the House, I think in the Senate as well, want to not push back on some of the protections or some of the gains that student athletes have won. And this also goes to the way that NIL is funded. There's a lot going on in that space right now. So we will talk about all of it, and we will get your text in as well. So we'll get that started here in just a moment. 304-396-TALK is the text line, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The soundtrack to your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition, presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, June 13th, it's Massing and special guest Sochtalager on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Next Friday, June 20th, the local Honeys make their 9th Street Live debut. January 27th, it's Brad Goodall and Of the Dell. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live, driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day, 9th Street Live between 3rd and 4th Avenues in Huntington. Sponsored by Delta Motels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communications. This Friday, it's the Massing at Mount West 9th Street Live. Be there.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257.
Hey, Cecilia, summer's finally here, and Clark's Pump and Shop has some great specials.
They've got assorted Hershey XL candy bars, buy one, get one for $1, and Mike and Ike, and a hot tamale theater box size candy, buy one, get one free.
And C4 Performance 16-ounce energy drinks, buy two, get one free.
That'll give you plenty of energy to get all your yard work done. I'd like these impatiens planted in the front yard, please.
Those impatients don't have to wait for my nap.
Get the rest of this month's specials on the Clark's Pump and Shop app from your app store.
You can return, refresh, and refuel where?
At Clark's Pump and Shop.
If you're looking for the best spot to enjoy a drink this spring in Barbersville, or maybe the entire region, it's Kerber Beer Company on Brady Street next to 1861 Public House. Their Brady Street Beer Garden is the perfect place to sip a craft beer, cocktail, or glass of wine outside in the sun. Plus, there's great food, live music, and good vibes. Can't make it to the tap room? Kerber Beer is on tap at more than 25 locations. And if your favorite spot doesn't have it, just ask for it. Kerber Beer Company, from our village to your glass. KerberBeer.com.
This is Mayor Patrick Farrell. Summer in Huntington has always had a special energy, but this year feels different. Families are out walking, neighbors are reconnecting, and more folks are spending time downtown. We're a city focused on what matters. Dog Dazzle is your chance to soak it in. Enjoy fireworks, food, music, and a night by the river that brings us together. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. We'd love to see you there.
Truck accident? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with this Thursday edition. It's going to be our final show of the week. We got Pirates baseball tomorrow with the 1:55 airtime, taking on the Cubbies. So, with that said, this will be the last show of the week. So we want to make it the best one of the week. And I need your help to do it. And I invite you to be a part of our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I'm also giving you tickets for this weekend's games. I'm going to give someone a ticket to Friday's Cold-Cats games, actually a pair, and then we'll do a pair for Saturday, and then we'll do a pair for Sunday. So we'll give you the opportunity to win those tickets. All you have to do is be a part of our text line and help the show today. If it's good for the show, I'll make it good for you. A couple of people have already texted in. Let's go and see what they've had to say so far. Interesting. It's both of them are focusing on Coach Jackson. First texter says, Coach Jackson's a great guy, but that extension's way too long. I appreciate the text. Other texts sort of in that same vein, thinking that it's a little too long of a extension, so we'll combine all those together, same stuff there. You think that extension that Coach Jackson got was too long? Are you comfortable with Coach Jackson getting that long of an extension, or are you of the mindset that, hey, he's done a good job, he wants to be here at Marshall University, so that's good enough, led Marshall to a 20-win season, Thundering Herd has a son of Marshall as the coach, and on to bigger and better things. And I don't have a problem with Coach Jackson getting that long of an extension. Now, I don't know the entire deal structure, but we've had coaches that have been around longer. We've had coaches that have had quick turnarounds. This, to me, feels like it's in the middle. It's in that safe middle zone where it's not too short. And that's the one thing you don't want. You want to commit to your coach and show that you're behind your head coach. You don't want to have a situation where, all right, we're in limbo here. The football situation probably is the best example. You had a situation that if you truly could have worked it out, you wouldn't have had so much of a headache at the end of the year. If you could have figured it out, okay, what does coach want? What are you willing to offer? What can you offer that will entice him to stay? How do you come together? And I think in the future, contracts should cover through the bowl. Absolutely think that the contract should cover through any potential bowl. You're on staff. you're working up until and after the bowl. If Marshall gets a bowl, you're working. Language of the contract. And I wouldn't have let anyone out of that contract early, not to the detriment of my team, not to the detriment of my athletic department. And I would have been a gentleman about it, but I would have enforced the letter of the law on any contract. You have an obligation. You're the head coach. You have an obligation. And if you want to take another job, that's fine, but you still have an obligation to our program. And that means having a team ready to go for our bowl, not what we saw. Well, the coach left and then the players started to leave as well. And I don't want to see that happen again. So I'm hoping that in the future you can avoid situations like that. You can avoid the chaos that comes with, okay, the coach is leaving, and then, of course, the transfer portal doesn't help as well. With the transfer portal, and there needs to be some legislation on that, because if the transfer portal can open up right before you get into bowl season, that devalues the bowls for me. And you know my stance. I'm not a fan of the bowl games. Mostly, I think there are too many bowl games to begin with, and I don't see the value in it. But if you're going to continue to have bowl games, then there needs to be some protections for universities so you don't have situations like this where your team evaporates after the end of the season. And now you're always going to have players that will say, I'm not going to go to the bowl because I'm getting ready for the NFL draft. They're leaving. You can't force them. Unfortunately, these players are not going to be contract employees. They're not going to be public university employees, even though there will be revenue being paid out. You can't put them under contract. And I don't know if you want to do that, because what if you got a player under contract that really not working out? Well, they're under contract. You can't get out of that contract. You're stuck with that player. So it goes both ways. But I hope that we see a situation where contracts in the future make absolutely clear that if the team qualifies for a bowl game, this is the term. Your season does not end. Your term does not end. Your contract does not expire until the conclusion of the final game, be it a championship game or be it a bowl game. You wouldn't see this situation if you had a team in the playoffs. And so you should make sure you don't put yourself in a position for a bowl game. If you value the bowl games and you want to have that experience for your student athletes and your fans, and let's think of the fans. How many fans were upset about not having a bowl game? So I'm hoping in the future contracts protect the university. I want fair contracts, but at the same time, you got to protect the university. And of course, that's where you hear a lot of people saying, well, they got to want to be here, or they need to want to be here. Well, I understand that. Everybody wants to be here. If it's the job, you want to be here as long as they're paying you, right? And for some, it means a little bit more. Dan D'Antoni was an example of it meant more to him because he wanted to be here. He wanted to be the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. That was his job. Cornelius Jackson wants to be here. He's the head coach of the Thundering Herd. This was his job. He's not someone that's coming from the outside. He's not someone that's coming from a different program to take the position, so maybe one day he can take another position. Now, if he comes in, takes Marshall to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, he does some fantastic coaching and takes this program really far in the tournament, and all of a sudden there are some offers coming his way and the money's really stupid good, I would not hold it against him to listen to those offers. I'm not saying he would do that, but I would not hold it against him for an offer that's going to be too good to pass up. You always want to listen to the offer. Whatever you do in life, you want to, if there's an offer, if someone is making you an offer, you want to listen to the offer. And sometimes you find out the grass isn't necessarily greener on the other side, but you want to at least give yourself the opportunity to listen to the offer. And so I wouldn't hold that against any coach to listen to the offer. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I've told you this before. You remember when the reports came out years ago that Coach Huff was possibly interested in the Duke job? I flat out understood. I said, you got to listen to the offer. Now, it didn't look good that you're not that far into the Marshall job and you're getting those offers here. I think that's something that as an individual, you want to be respectful to your current employer. As an employee, you want to be respectful. Texter says, Paul, were the failures of coming to terms with Coach Huff a factor in this early extension for Coach Jackson? And I'm okay with the extension. I think that you were in a situation where you didn't want to have a coach that did not have a contract. The way it was explained to me before this happened, and the thing here is, again, this is kind of off the beaten path. When I was talking to a couple people, this was more of a renewal for Coach of his contract. This was a renewal, and the extension was added on. And it's a smart move. You want to lock him down. You want to put him in a situation. And I think Marshall's administration hopefully learned something from the contract failure of Coach Huff. Now, I don't know how many people are still upset that Coach Huff left, or if anyone is upset that Coach Huff left. More so where he went to, I think, is what the problem is. And Tony Gibson has come in, and as of last year, the year before, we've learned these teams are going to turn over every single year. So he's got to hit the ground running. Every year at this level of football, you're going to have to re-recruit your team. You're going to have to almost rebuild. And so I think some of the challenges that Coach Gibson had to face hitting the ground running, I think Coach Huff would have faced as well. He might have been able to retain a few more players. But with the transfer portal the way it is, and with these NIL deals, that everybody's got to get them done now before the settlement goes into effect, you have a situation where the team was going to be different. It just now has a different coaching staff, and we're going to see how that looks in a few weeks, few months, how this breaks down year one. Yeah, I know there are a couple of publications out there not giving Marshall much of a chance, not much of a, let's put it this way. There are a few online publications that pretty much don't think Marshall's going to win that many games, because a lot of games can be 50-50, and that's fine. The only game that I put Marshall at a disadvantage in is the opening game against Georgia. That's the only game that I put Marshall at a disadvantage. Now, I'm basing that off of what? Well, Georgia, bigger school, national championship contender. Marshall, brand new team, new head coach. Okay, that's going to be a challenge for any coach. The rest of the schedule, I got to have faith that, okay, Marshall's going to at least be on par, hopefully, on similar footing as most of the teams in the Sun Belt. So I got to feel confident that maybe Marshall's going to have a chance in those games. So I don't have that bad of a outlook. I don't think that Marshall's going to win 2 or 3 games. I think it's going to be a better season than that. But at the same time, I can understand where all of those questions come from, because Southern Miss isn't exactly rated to win that many games either, to be honest with you. So, we've got a new head coach. The previous coach won 1 championship with Marshall. The coach before that won 1 championship with Marshall. The coach before that did not win a championship with Marshall. And then the 2 previous coaches for Marshall, Bob Pruitt, Jim Donnan, won multiple championships with Marshall, set the standard there. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Chop. We're also giving you a chance to win tickets to go see the Coldcats on Friday. Also, I've got Saturday and Sunday tickets, so we're going to make 3 lucky winners happy today. That's the goal. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Menards has all the tools and fasteners you need to finish your home improvement project. Whether you need standard nails for general construction or specialty nails for specific applications, you'll find them here. New Fast nails are made in the USA with the highest quality steel and have superior holding power. Check out our entire selection of New Fast nails in store today and see the rest of our deals in our flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Ladies, prioritizing your health starts with Marshall OBGYN. From screening exams to disease prevention to management of reproductive problems, our team offers a complete range of services for women of all ages. Thinking about growing your family? Marshall OBGYN's physicians are experienced in providing you the support you need for normal or high-risk pregnancies in a friendly, family-oriented environment. Learn more at marshallhealth.org/OBGYN.
Kindred Communications is committed to equal employment opportunities. We are actively seeking organizations that assist in connecting job seekers with employers. If your organization is interested in collaborating with us, please reach out. Visit kindredcom.net or call 304-523-8401 for more information. Kindred Communications Incorporated. Equal opportunity is our priority.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-857-4433. That's 800-857-4433. Again, 800-857-4433.
Progressive presents Good News, Bad News, Dumb News, then Great News. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well. I feel like I never have time for myself. With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things. His memory isn't what it used to be. We get up and we have coffee. He usually wakes up at 4:30. Then we go for a walk. He needs lots of my attention. I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important. Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist. I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well. They honestly have no idea what I'm going through. It can be a little challenging. Help. But so far, so good. I could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thanks, Dave. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, 10:06, it is Metro News Talk Line and Steam Release at 11:30. So be there and get it off your chest. You'll feel better if you tune in tomorrow and then release it during Steam Release. Of course, we don't need just a designated day for you to release your Steam. We do that every day here. Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also, we're giving 3 of our texters today tickets to a game every day this weekend. Let me clarify that. We're going to give you a pair of tickets, actually, to either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So we'll figure that out in the wash. But if you want a shot at either a pair of tickets for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you know the number. And if you don't, 304-396-TALK is our text line to be a part of it. If you are going to the game tonight, don't forget it is Thirsty Thursday. And also, it's Scratch Bobblehead Night. So always something different happening at the ballpark. Coldcats are looking pretty good, are they not right now? This has been a fun start for the Coldcats this season, and yesterday overcoming a 9-2 third-inning deficit to get the victory. We'll see if the offense continues to flow like that coming up tonight. And we'll have the game for you at 6:45. It's our airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we've been taking your text a little bit about the contract extension yesterday that Coach Cornelius Jackson agreed to. He's going to be on the job through the 29-30 season. And it's anecdotal at best right now, but there are a few people that are okay with it, at least talking to some of you. Hey, this is good. Yeah, we're okay with that. And there are a few of you that I'm getting the vibe right now. And again, I don't have consensus on this, but you like Coach, but maybe that's just too long of an extension. If you're in that camp, how long his deal should have been? If you think that this is too long of a deal, what deal would you have given him? Would you have done a straight-out 3-year deal? Would you have done a straight-up 4-year deal? What would you have done extension-wise? Or what would you have done initially when it came to giving him the job? Would you have guaranteed 3? We're going to guarantee you 3 years. That'll give you enough time to get established, get started, and we'll find out if this is going to work out. I think 3 years is probably fair. In this day and age, 3 years is probably a lot right now, to be honest, because you got to win now. Results matter. You have to win now. If you're not winning now, how long is that tolerated? Instantaneous. Because we've seen it. We had a coach come in a couple of years ago in women's basketball, won now, took Marshall to the NCAA tournament, and then took her dream job at Tennessee. So you have that win now mentality of you got to get it done now. And that's been, I think, honestly, the transfer portal is probably skewed that value up, because before you take a few years, you try to build your program, and now at the transfer portal, the consensus is, at least from fans I talk to, hey, there's no excuse. You can go out and you can get players right away, and then you can build a team that has a chance to win a championship. And that's what more and more of the fans are expecting. You can go and fix it in the transfer portal. That's where you get your players. Recruiting, you still have to do that, but at the end of the day, you're going out and you're getting players in the transfer portal that are better than what you have, or you're replacing players that left you, and so you can go and turn this thing around real quick. And that's where we're at now with a lot of sports. Coach isn't winning now. Well, he's not using the transfer portal. We expect wins. So is 3 years the shelf life? Is this a little longer than the average? And do you feel comfortable with a contract length for any coach, not just Coach Jackson? Me personally, I'm good with it. I'll just go ahead and put that on the record now. I'm good with it. Coach Jackson, he knows what he's doing. Loves Huntington, loves Marshall. It was a good product to watch, and I don't have a problem with it. There's no but what if coming from me. That's not me. I like Coach Jackson. I think he did a great job. I look forward to Coach Jackson being the coach for several years, as long as he wants the job. And if Marshall's winning, I don't think that there's any problem there. The real challenge is, can he get Marshall to conference championship? Can he get Marshall to the NCAA tournament? Because that fans will turn on you. And I hope that's not the case, but fans will turn on you. We got toward the end of Dan D'Antoni's career at Marshall University, and fans started to turn on him a little bit. It's because you like Dan and you think the world of him, but at the same time, you want Marshall basketball to win, and you can like someone, but if you don't think they're getting the job done, you want change. The two do not necessarily exist together. Hey, we like you, so we want to keep you. No, we like you, but we want to win. And it doesn't matter, we like you, we want to win, you're not winning, we got to go in a different direction. I mean, that's hard for some people. Hey, think he's great, not getting it done. We still want you to come and hang out, and we want to be around you. We want to be friends. It's not you, it's me. Or is it the other way around? It's not me, it's you. You know how relationships go. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're giving you a chance to win those tickets to go see the Colecats. I've got a pair for Friday. I've also got a pair for Saturday. And I've got a pair for Sunday. So we'll give you an opportunity to win those tickets when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Injured in a car wreck? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
Your West Virginia premier Ford Bowtie guy is heating things up, and y'all get to cash in. Ford's #1 selling F-150, employee price now $12,000 off MSRP. Escapes and Explorers, employee price now $6,500 off MSRP. There's even 1.9% financing. Summer is the perfect time to trade in and trade up, and we're paying top dollar. New ownership, improved process, better deal. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwd.com. See dealer for complete details on all offers.
Discover the Tri-State's premier senior living community, Woodlands. Choose from a range of modern living options designed to reflect your unique independent style. Embrace an active and vibrant lifestyle with plenty of activities, scenic surroundings, and friends to share them with. And rest easy knowing your future is secure with Woodlands Life Care Guarantee. Call 304-697-1620 or visit woodlandswv.com and meet your future neighbors and see what makes this community so special. Woodlands Retirement Community. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Dog Dazzle 2025. It's a Huntington Tri-State summer tradition, and it all kicks off Thursday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2025 featuring Matt Stell. Plus, special guest, Madhouse. And don't miss the Big Sandy Superstore Furniture Fireworks Show, lighting up the sky. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Clark's Pump and Shop beer tents, food trucks, and family fun all night long. Dog Dazzle with Matt Stell. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. Dog Dazzle 2025 with Matt Stell, Thursday, July 3rd. Presented by the City of Huntington, Cabell County Commission, Blinko Glass Company, Dave & Buster's, Little Caesars, Wendy's, Great Outdoors Marine, Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Comark, University Ford, One Way Septic, White Claw, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog. Dog Dazzle. Kick off your 4th with a bang.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's easier than you think for pests to threaten your family's health. Ticks, which spread dangerous diseases, hide in tall grasses and even on your pets. Rodents easily invade your home, contaminate food, and can carry more than 35 diseases. Mosquitoes, which breed in standing water, transmit many diseases. Get the facts you need to protect your family at pestworld.org. It's that easy. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We carry on with this Thursday edition of the show. It is our final day of the week. Friday, we've got Pirates baseball. 1:55 is going to be our airtime. They're taking on the Cubbies. So we will not be with you tomorrow, as we will have baseball possibly going all the way close to 6 o'clock. And then we've got Coldcats baseball as well tomorrow evening. And I'm giving you a chance to win tickets to that game. And I'm also going to give a pair of tickets away for Saturday's game and then Sunday's game. All you have to do to text the win is hit those numbers now. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Couple of items that we do need to hit on. First of all, Marshall, if you were listening to any of the Board of Governors meeting yesterday, you heard that Christian Spears, it almost felt like a farewell address to a degree. Now, he's still working. He's still on the job. He's still doing the work of the athletic director. He's not sitting in his office with his legs propped up on the desk table just going, oh, I'll be out of here soon. No, he's still working as the athletic director. And addition to Marshall's staff today is Kenyatta Grant. She's Marshall's new cheer coach. And he alluded to the fact that as Marshall, he's been able to bring in 11 new coaches. I lost count, to be honest. 11 new coaches under his watch. And, of course, you know, most recently football, volleyball, now cheer coach. And we're talking head coaches here. You know, there have been a lot of personnel changes under his administration. But that was an interesting number to me. I looked at that and go, wow, yeah, that has really changed a lot since he took over as the athletic director. And I wonder if we're going to see maybe that number hold for a while with the new athletic director, because you always wonder, new athletic director comes in, wants to make changes, not necessarily right away for football and basketball due to contracts, but you know, could there be some changes in some other sports? Yeah, we'll obviously know more when we know more. Texter says, Paul, with Coach Jackson, I think it's about communicating respect. It could have been a 3-year deal, and he could get his dream job offer in the SEC. I think it comes down to, for him, we know that he was coach in waiting, not necessarily vocalized outward too much, but he was a coach in waiting. If you knew anything about Marshall basketball, you kind of had an idea like, okay, you know, Dan probably wants to turn this thing over to someone that he thinks that can carry on, be a Marshall man. And Coach Jackson is that guy. He's the Marshall man. And he can still get his dream job offer. I think Marshall's his dream job, but if you get a life-altering offer, you got to look at that job and you have to consider it. And that's just how this works. If someone said to me, Paul, we're going to give you a national platform, we're going to give you all the resources you possibly could ever want so you can do the very best show you can do, and we're going to pay you a lot of money to do it as well, you're darn right I'm going to listen to that offer. Like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be able to get this, and you're going to pay me this? Yeah, you look at that. I mean, I like here. I like everyone here. I like you. And I would figure if I had a national platform, you could still hear me. But you get what I'm saying. I'm happy, but if someone comes along and makes you an offer, you got to listen to it. And if you go, well, that offer's really good, and that could really set me up nicely, and it wouldn't be terrible. And, you know, I'm happy here, but you know, I could really advance myself further, or hey, that's going to take care of me. I'm not going to have to worry about it anymore. You know, that's going to set me up quite nicely for my family, because, you know, how long can I be the coach at Marshall University? You know, Marshall University's been good to me. Hopefully I've been good to Marshall, but how long am I going to be the coach here? It's going to be a new challenge for, you know, and we're not pushing coach out the door right now. We're just saying it's a good idea to lock these coaches up. If you're committed to them and you want them to be committed, it's a good deal to lock them up. And if another offer comes along, of course, depending on what the contract deals are, I mean, you can always get out of it. At the end of the day, though, is it good for Marshall? Is it good for the coach in question? And I would make sure that my contracts were good for Marshall along norms. I'm not looking for insane buyouts here, but because you want to be able to attract people to the job, because not everyone's going to take the job and go, hey, I want to be the coach here for the rest of my life and mean it. They'll say it, but they might not mean it. But if you bring coaches in that have a connection to Marshall University, you might get that. Is Morgan Zirkle going to be looking for a new softball job anywhere? I don't think so. Is Coach Gibson going to be looking for a job anytime soon? I don't think so, especially the way that contract's structured. Is Coach Jackson going to be looking for a job elsewhere anytime soon? I don't think so. I don't think he's at least going to be looking while he's the head coach of Marshall, as some have done. And really, it's agents these days. Your agent's doing the work for you, not the other way around. It's, hey, I've got an offer here for you. What do you think? You're working through the agent, and the back and forth. Coach Huff and his people, while in communication with Marshall's athletic department, were looking at an offer or in contact with a different school. My only thought on future contracts, I would, if you don't like this, well, you're not going to be the coach here. I would prevent any coach that signed a deal with Marshall University, if I could get away with this, I would have a clause, and I would make sure I could get away with this, that you cannot take a job with a competing school. I don't know if that's enforceable. I don't know if that's something that you would have to get the league on board with. Like, okay, we all have to come to an agreement here. We can't have players moving from school to school in the Sun Belt, or we can't have coaches jumping ship. It doesn't happen that often from one conference school to another. We can't have that, but I would try to build protections in as if I could. I'm not a legal expert. I don't know what the legality would be in 2025, but if I had my way, I would make sure that the contract benefited Marshall University. And there are some intelligent people on the Board of Governors and in positions of authority and advising Marshall. There are some smart people there. And so I'm pretty confident that the contracts that are coming out are going to be thoughtfully put together, especially after the debacle of Coach Huff and this situation. So this is, for me, a hope that we have learned from our mistakes here. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I do like Coach Huff, and I do wish him well. Not that well, because if he's competing against Marshall, then I'm all against you, Coach. Sorry, you're wearing a different uniform now. You're different, But at the end of the day, I like Coach Huff, and I don't know, I don't know what he thought of me. And honestly, I really, at this point, I don't care. But I thought well of him. I respected him. I wish him well. I wish his family well. The guy might hate me. I don't know. I don't care. But at the same time, if you can't get this deal done, I got to make it so Marshall isn't harmed in the process. And I think Marshall was harmed, especially with the loss of the bowl game and the embarrassment nationally for not having that bowl game. I squarely put that on all parties involved. I don't assign that individually to one or the other. I put that on all parties involved. And with that said, thanks for tuning in. We're going to make some winners now, so stick around your phone. You've got your phone with you now. Keep it handy. I'm going to be reaching out to everyone who texted in today, and then I'm going to see if we can get you all tickets to go see the Colecats. I got a ticket pair for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll work with you. But when they're gone, they're gone. That's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in. Back with you on Monday here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.